Good afternoon, team. Okay, so we are July Masterclass. Some of you have been in all of them throughout the year. Some of you, this is the first one. So just to explain a little bit about how they go, generally, I do lots of talking, and you guys can use the chat box to ask any questions at all. Or if you need to turn your audio on and speak to me, that's entirely fine as well. But I'll make sure there's some time at the end too. What I'm going to do as well is to try and convince everyone to listen. There's going to be a little quiz towards the end. I'll ask 3 questions of things we've gone through, and then there'll be a little prize for the 3 winners, and we'll get those to the property for you as well. So if you have a pen and paper, it is good time to have it ready. And so with this Proverb Masterclass, we go from 1 till 2 o'clock, presuming we've got therapists and potentially front of house maybe as well, reception. And then the 2 to 2:30 becomes like a therapist only treatment slot. And obviously each one we send out the syllabus of what's in there, because some of the properties do different things. Some of you do face and body, some of you only do body. But this one, what we are going to do today is I wanted to do a deep dive into skin strength serum. So trying to take one of the bottles and really get a bit more information out about it, so we're more confident speaking about it. And it will lead me to speak to you a bit more about antioxidants. So we've got a bottle we need to speak about, but then also I like doing a bit of a skin academic part, because in truth, for all of us to be even better, the more we can learn will be useful for every treatment and every brand we touch. So I wanted to talk about antioxidants a little bit more, because when we deal with the serum, you'll see there's so much antioxidant. And then I really want to make sure that we're happy with antioxidants and how they all work. Then I want to talk about body massage oils, because everybody on the screens has got all the oils, and really reiterate kind of how some brands make body oils versus the others, so that you really know what you're using on people, but also what you're selling them and why it is better. So we're going to do a study into kind of refined versus cold pressed oils, which will hopefully be useful for all of your learning, not just Proverb. You will find quite a lot in the masterclasses that the original Kirstie, remember my original business was pure qualification training schools, comes out a little bit. And I just go back to loving teaching everyone about skincare and ingredients full stop, not necessarily quite so Proverb centric all the time. Just how do we all become better and learn more? And then when we get to the practical side, I have my ice bowl ready. Everyone that does skin workout facial already has their cryo balls, and we use those to do lifting in the facial. Rockcliffe, I know you haven't got ours, but I know you will be using them in one of the other treatments that you do. And I just thought it'd be really nice. We do a short amount of it in the skin workout facial, but there is quite a lot more that we can learn about those globes and how to use them. So we're then going to do that so we can get even better, or maybe create a standalone kind of 15 or 30-minute add-on using just the cryo. Okay, so I will share screens. At any point you can't see anything or you can't hear me properly, just shout, because if you can't, then there's a chance everyone else can't, and I may well just be speaking to the ether. Okay. Now, what we want to check is, give me a little wave if you can see the grey screen. Awesome. It works. It's always a good start. We did have a bit of a catastrophe about 2 minutes before, where the computer fell off the table and I broke one of the cables. I'm in trouble. All right, then. So let's start with some serum. So if you're making notes, if we put skin strength serum first. So this is the one that I really want to focus on. We talk about it when we do the facial, but we don't spend super long because we're always doing so much practical. So we want to really concentrate on what we call the under armor for your skin. Okay, so our first slide about it is the overriding, what is it? So it's high performance, natural serum that when we made it, we wanted something that would combat fatigue, environmental stress, signs of aging. And as always, being formulated like an elite diet sheet for an athlete, but for your face. And so when I was creating the briefs, I was like, right, I want it to be anti-aging. So we've got to have some collagen support. Anti-fatigue, because I want people to look less dull and more radiant and less tired. Protective against the cold, protective against UV, and hydrating, because all of us to some degree will always have a dehydrated skin. So how do we lock in the water, and how do we make someone look brighter? Okay, so these were the things we wanted to do. From a therapist point of view, when you are talking about the serum, and I will send you this document afterwards, so you will have it and you can share it with the rest of the team. But these are ideas of things you can tell people, the words that can come out of your mouth. So it says, think of it like a performance serum to hydrate, brighten, and protect. Ideal for anyone that's exposed to sun, blue light, tired, city clients, young parents of young children, travelers, athletes. It's going under the moisturizer. A little goes a long way. We do not need too much. And it is instantly smooth feeling and instantly matte. So if you know you have guests who don't like the feeling of having too much product on their face, which is often true of male clients or anyone that suffers with any oil or shine, this is great as well. And you do get a little bit of a facelift tightening feeling with it. So the effects coming from the blue agave that I'll explain in a bit more detail in a minute, but the agave and then the peptides that we have got in there as well. In terms of how they will use it, we can use it in the AM and the PM, after the cleanse and tone, before your moisturizer. We always talk about the amount you need in terms of a foodstuff, because we're trying continually to get people to remember that Proverb is using ingredients that are taken from diet sheets, and that they need to start thinking about beauty just like they think about their food and kitchen ingredients. So we'd go 1 pumpkin seed size piece for the face and 1 pumpkin seed size for the neck. And one thing I would say as the therapist using it, will come back to me for a second, is don't overwork it. So when it goes on, it's clear, like smooth it on, smooth it where you want it and leave. What you don't want to be doing is rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. You don't need to do that. You can use it like a smooth coat, couple of swipes and step away. Okay. So don't overwork it, because the more you work, the more you can make it feel sticky, and we don't want that. It dries beautifully without you into that matte feeling. Okay, back to my screen. So I have broken down for us what is inside it, but I've broken it down into the base ingredients, which is all about hydration and essentially the delivery vehicle for the second table we're going to look at, which are the botanicals and the actives. Okay, so let's think about the base, because when you're making a product, you have to really start with what is the base of that product. And this is a water-based serum. So you'll have seen when it went on my hand, that gel type texture, because it is an aqua base. And remember, other ingredients will either dissolve into water or they'll dissolve into oil. So this is a water-based, so we need things that dissolve into water. Now, hint, hint to listen up. One of the key things that's really important about this is having a base that has got the aqua, but it has got a really strong humectant level. So humectants, if you remember from college, are the best examples are sodium hyaluronate, which is hyaluronic acid, glycerine, and potentially urea. So this has the first two. So we've got hyaluronic acid, but also glycerine. You don't always get both of them together. Often you'll just get one of them, but it was a real focus for the product to be trying to really deeply hydrate and to stop transepidermal water loss. So to stop water loss and to plump the skin. So remember, when you use a hyaluronic acid, that you're putting it on the skin, and two things. One, it does have the ability to attract water from outside. So it's trying to draw water to the face. But predominantly what they are doing is they're trying to draw water molecules from lower down in the skin up to the epidermis. So they're trying to draw the water up. And then you also have in that base witch hazel, because we wanted the anti-inflammatory soothing element. So key things with the delivery vehicle at the bottom are strong humectant, hyaluronic acid, and glycerine. Then we get to then what after the base goes inside. And if you have a look and scan down the pictures down the side, you will see, other than the blue agave, who is a bit of a loner color-wise on his own, everything else has a very definite color palette. You will see that it's all pretty much orange through to red, through to dark berry, acai type berry black color. And that is your ultimate clue that there will be a lot of antioxidants in here. Remember, those dark skins are what protects the fruit or the berry or whatever the natural ingredient is from the sun. And in us, they are strong antioxidants. So let's see what there is. So we have not just tomato, it is a fermented tomato. Fermented, just like with sauerkraut, when you ferment ingredients, you tend to strengthen the benefits and add to them. The tomato is there for antioxidants, but also being a real pollution and UV damage protector. Next up, you get your crazy little Antarctic glycoprotein. So off to Antarctica with us. This glycoprotein was a bacteria that was found on the base of icebergs that was magically cryoprotecting itself. And so it was taken and studied, and then has incredible data for showing how it can help protect the skin while it's cold and overexposed, but also really helping to boost collagen production. And then next, you have an AHA. So you have get my words out, Kirstie, an alpha hydroxy acid. So the papaya is providing you the AHA in the serum, which will be brightening, will give a gentle exfoliation to the surface and help with tone. There is two things in this bottle that will be linked to brightening, which is the papaya. And then at the very bottom, you can see orange peel, which will also have a brightening effect. So from a brightening element, it's always papaya and the orange. And then we hit two of the darkest skins, the acai and the pomegranate extract. Both of those are really, really high antioxidant level. And because I keep saying the word antioxidant so much, that's why after this, I want to really concentrate technically on what antioxidants are and do and help you with that, because we just keep repeating that word. They are both very, very good at helping repair oxidative stress. So that is when free radicals are doing something bad to your skin, they can help repair with that. Sea buckthorn, the beautiful little orange berries of the sea buckthorn fruit. Super high antioxidant again. They're a carotenoid antioxidant. Very good for repairing. And it doesn't say it in the table, but they've also got a lot of omega-7. and then leaving him till the last, the little blue agave, the odd one out, the blueberry, the blue spikes. If you remember when we did facial training, those of you that have done it, the blue agave is the plant that makes tequila. So you can get your salt and your lemon and your shots out. We obviously are not using it from an alcohol point of view at all. We don't use it as an alcohol, but the plant has what's called a polysaccharide network. And so in normal skincare, not the mainstream, not organic, in most moisturizers, in most primers and most foundations and makeup, you get silicons. Now, you cannot have those and shouldn't have them in natural and organic formulations. But what they do is they act like polyfiller, and they literally fill up little lines. They're very good. And for a long time, there wasn't anything that really replaced them in our world, but the blue agave plant does. So what it literally does is it has this little network where it basically helps cover and immediately kind of fill in fine lines, enough so that in all their clinical data, they will say without a microscope, just to the naked human eye, in 5 minutes, you will be able to see fine lines being slightly filled. It also is one of the things that makes it so smooth. And that's why we're saying not to overwork it, to leave it on and let it do its job of creating that really skin tightening, smooth feeling. You can tell from what's gone in it that when we were making this, the focus was an anti-aging, like anti-age, hydrate, UV, protection, and brightening. But what is interesting is I will still in a treatment quite happily use this on an oilier skin, because the AHA from the papaya and the brightening of the orange are really useful. Everybody needs antioxidants. But because it's matte and because it dries so easily and it doesn't feel like you have a lot of product on your face, it can sit really nicely over slightly more problematic skin. Has anyone got any skin strength questions? You can either speak or you can pop them into the chat box, if I can find my chat box. Perfect. So, key things I want you to remember about it then for later, that you've got two humectants, you've got the glycerine and you've got the hyaluronic acid. From a brightening perspective, you've got two really doing the brightening, which is the papaya and the orange. And then the rest of it, you have this massive barrage of antioxidants with all the dark skin fruit extracts. And then you've got that beautiful spiky blue agave filling up lines and giving that facelift impact. I think it's quite nice now and then to just take a product and really look at it. And so in a masterclass, that's what we'll tend to do. We will take one and really look at that. Okay. Now, time to go off to antioxidant college. So I always have a section in this, which is like the skin academic. So this is not Proverb specific. This is being a beauty expert specific in terms of antioxidants, because every product brand you work with will be telling you about antioxidants. So just want to refresh what they actually mean, what they actually counter, and where the problems lie in free radical land. Okay. Now, sorry if you hated chemistry at school. We start with a little bit of chemistry. Okay. So to really, really understand antioxidants, you have to understand what an atom is. So the atom is a basic building block of everything. So everything in your body, you start with atoms. And an atom, one singular atom, acts like a bit of a mini solar system there's a center, which is the nucleus, and it's got positively charged protons in it. And then the nucleus has got neutrons in it, which are neutral. Okay, so positive and neutral inside it. But then zooming around the outside of the atom, are something called electrons, like a planet going round the sun. And the electrons are negative, okay? But what's crucial to know about the electrons is that ideally, they are always in a pair, okay? Anyone feeling chemistry GCSE vibes? They are in a pair. Think about them like two seats on a bus, each like the pair of seats on the bus, that the electrons ideally for that atom to be stable, and whatever that atom then creates, whatever structures it creates to be stable, we want two electrons zooming around the outside of it. Okay, so a paired electron is stable, happy. When you just get one sitting on that seat, okay, when it's unpaired, it basically gets a bit Love Island on you, and it just desperately wants a partner. It wants someone to come and sit next to it on the bus. It wants to hook up and get someone on the bus. And when it wants to hook up, that makes it unstable. Okay, so they are, Luke just said, for anyone watching, like Harrison. So maybe they're all too good and not watching dregs of Love Island. So as soon as you lose an electron, that atom becomes unstable because it's trying to find someone to sit next to it on the bus. Is everyone with me so far? Okay. So then we know what atoms are. We then need to understand what a free radical is. So every day, your skin, not just your skin though, your body is under attack from external things and internal things. The external ones are easier for us to deal with. So we'll go with external first. So pollution, stress, not getting enough sleep, poor diet, smoking, alcohol, pesticides, heavy metals, any drugs, medication. They are external free radicals that are coming to try and get us. But there is also, your body is making them inside all the time. So the free radicals are the baddies, essentially. But just completely normal functions of your body produce free radicals. So for instance, if you're having an immune response, if you've got a cold or you've got a flu, or you've got some bacteria or pathogen that's inside you, and your white blood cells have to fight, then they make free radicals in part of their fighting. There are just enzyme reactions inside your body that as a byproduct, you get free radicals. You can't do anything about it. That's just what happens. Likewise, the mitochondria, when it's producing energy in cells, makes free radicals. So we are continually making free radicals, or we're being exposed to them from the outside. Okay. Now, the ones that are happening inside you are harder to stop. The list of outside factors, clearly, we can try and decrease all of those things. And that will have been one of the first things when I used to teach level 2 facial. This list is one of the first things we ever used to go through with people as to things they should avoid to have good skin. But we never truly went into the depth of why and what was happening with those atoms and those electrons trying to sit in pairs. Okay. So the free radicals, wherever those functions they've just come from, they have one electron sitting on their own. Okay, so free radicals have one bus seat. And that lone electron is desperate to steal it from somewhere else. And that is exactly what they do. So the reason a free radical is referred to as a baddie is because it goes and finds another electron and nicks it and steals it. So they might take it from your cell walls, or they might take it from some protein or DNA. So what they are basically doing is, a free radical is an unstable molecule, one electron sitting on the bus, but to make itself feel happier, it goes and damages a healthy cell that was completely fine by stealing electrons. Okay. And that process is what that is called oxidative stress. And that process is one of the things that really ages your skin. But there are many worse things that stealing of electrons can do. So the list here just explains to us, well, what actually happens when you are in oxidative stress. So when those free radicals are going around and borrowing electrons from healthy cells, that cell gets damaged. So you have got a healthy cell that is now a damaged cell, or it even can just kill the cell. So you might get the cell dying. You can get DNA mutations, which essentially can really increase risk of cancer. So whilst we think about antioxidants and free radicals as wrinkles and skin, wrinkles is your best case scenario in this list. There's many more things that we should be worried about when free radicals are inside us. And when we get, it's not that they're inside us, they're meant to be in us, but it's when you get too many of them and you're not fighting back against them. You can get inflammation, you can get unnecessary immune responses, you can get things like heart disease, Alzheimer's, arthritis, most of the kind of high-level diseases, and the one we're always interested in, you get accelerated aging. So if you have a lot of free radicals in you, you get accelerated aging, you get damage, you get skin damage, you get wrinkles, you get loss of tone, you get internal aging as well. Hence, they are the baddies. And then the antioxidants, we enter the antioxidants. Basically, what you've got to think of the antioxidants as is your skin's bodyguards, ultimately. But the kind of next step level, we know that as skin therapists, but there are different types of them. And this is where it starts to get interesting when you're really understanding formulas. They actually work as a team. There's like a team of 3 superheroes, but you get the 3 of them from different ingredients and different places. So the first batch of antioxidants, and they are really the crucial ones, they are your frontline defenders. So think of them as like a fire extinguisher putting out the flames. Those antioxidants are called scavengers. And scavengers, basically, think of them also as a bit like an organ donor. They basically go round and they donate electrons, like literally give an electron to that free radicals that's annoyingly sitting on the bus on its own, trying to steal them. So it is giving them an electron so that they don't go and steal them from a healthy cell. Those are supersonically important to your health and to your skin health. And the serum that we've just gone through is essentially a huge list of scavenger antioxidants. So the pomegranate, the acai, the lycopene from the tomatoes, sea buckthorn, vitamin E, anything we put carrots in, they are all scavenger antioxidants. And not only do you want them in your bottles, you want them to go home and eat them as well. There is then another set of antioxidants that are called regenerators, that are like the engineers. And what they do is when a scavenger antioxidant has donated an electron to stop the free radical going randomly stealing them from somewhere else, the regenerators then come along to the scavenger antioxidant and they repair the scavenger antioxidant, which is insanely clever. So basically think of them as like recyclers. You've had a scavenger antioxidant. So let's say you've been eating carrots and putting carrot oil on your skin, and it has been doing a scavenger, fire extinguishing, dealing with some free radicals, but then it's all out of energy and electrons and it's got nowhere to go. Then what a regenerator antioxidant comes along is it comes along and it refuels the scavenger. Super clever. And then the third version of them is you get enzyme booster antioxidants. Now, truthfully, these ones you don't see as many of in skincare. Quite a lot of these are best through supplementation. But they are like, think of them as like a coach. They're like the teachers, where they help the body stimulate its own antioxidants. So they basically, you take them in as an antioxidant, but their job is they go to your body and your cells and they go, come on, guys, you need to make some more. You've got to make some of your own. They're like the coaches that teach your body how to do it themselves. Did anyone ever learn this originally? I don't think at college we went into quite as much detail on these. We knew the basis of a free radical. But the big takeaway is that you really, really want, particularly those scavenger antioxidants. When you start to understand Proverb formulas more, you will see that they're entirely based around having lots and lots of those. But also, the reason that we will always be 100% natural and organic is that normally the organic or cold pressed version of an ingredient has more of the antioxidants left in it because it hasn't been heated. Okay, so the next bit we find ourselves coming to is trying to understand how the beauty industry heats ingredients or doesn't heat ingredients. Okay. So everyone happy with their atoms, with their electrons, ideally being in a pair to be stable. Free radicals are not, they've only got one. They go off around trying to borrow them from everywhere else. And your antioxidants are the things that will stop them. But your guest needs to eat them even more than they need to absorb them through their skin. And you will need to eat them and absorb them through your skin too. Because in our world, we put wrinkles at the top of the list, but truthfully, that is the bottom of the list compared to what the antioxidants are really trying to protect you from. Okay, skin academic deep dive antioxidants tick. Alrighty. Now, we next are going to think about some body oil. So your next heading is going to be body oils. And we're going to really have a think about refining body oils and cold pressing body oils. And then we will swap ourselves from this position to the treatment bed. And we're going to look at cryo and the cryo tools for the face. Okay. So we are thinking body oils and the different ways that the industry produces them. Now, this is, for us, it's about the beauty industry, but this is also just as relevant to your kitchen when you're thinking about your cupboards that have your cooking oil in it. So any oils in your kitchen that you are cooking with. There are two ways to essentially produce oil to be able to sell it. And those two ways are to refine it or to cold press it. Now, what's really, really good about oil is that whoever has done it, whichever way they've done it, it has started its life, nearly all oils start their life as a natural ingredient. So for instance, if we take jojoba, for example, or a grapeseed or a wheat germ, they were all a natural ingredient to start with. There are a few that are fake, that are fully synthetic, like petroleum oil and mineral oil, but we're ignoring them. We're not counting them. They're not the real deal. We're thinking about everything that you can get in cooking oils and beauty oils that's not a petroleum oil. So the big tick and the good thing for them is they started life natural. But let me explain how the vast majority of oil that will end up in a spa or in your kitchen is made. And you will see from my beautiful picture of my little industrial zone, this is our refining. So what happens normally? Let's use jojoba as the best example. So they take the jojoba seeds and they need to mass produce jojoba oil to sell it onto the beauty industry. Now they crush the seeds, but they also then treat it with a solvent, which normally is hexane, which comes from the petroleum industry. And then they heat it to an incredible temperature, normally heating it up to about 270 degrees. Now, if you took a carrot at home and put it in a pan and heated it to 270 degrees, there would be nothing left to eat. It would be a useless mush. And truthfully, that's what they're doing to the jojoba. Because if you heat it that high, you are literally going to destroy every antioxidant, every enzyme, every vitamin that was in there. Now, this is where it gets funky. Apparently, humans like everything to be uniform and organized, okay? And brands don't like it if one time their jojoba oil is bright orange and the next time their jojoba oil is a clear color, because people think there's something wrong. It doesn't match. People don't like it. So the way the oil industry predominantly gets around that is they actually bleach the oils. So they actually bleach the oils to take the color out, to literally get it to one stable color so that it always matches. And they also deodorize it. So they'll also put chemicals through it to take away any smell, because apparently humans don't like the real smells of the oils either. So it becomes completely neutral and pretty lifeless. And this is most oil that you'll have ever met. Now, the positives are it ends up with a long shelf life and it's normally much cheaper, which means they make lots of margin selling it to you. The huge downside is there's literally like zero nutritional value left. And for us, it is just not aligned at all with our body health, with our skin health, or what we believe in, that you get out what you put in. Now, here is the kicker. Here's the problem, is that because it's jojoba oil and it started its life as a genuine natural jojoba seed, or whichever oil it is, on the bottle, it just says natural jojoba oil, because it did come from a jojoba, but they don't have to tell you it was refined, and they don't have to tell you the processes that it has gone through. And if they're not telling you that it's cold pressed, presume it has been refined. Okay, so unless someone is going out of their way to tell you it's cold pressed, it will be refined. It will have been made like this. So in your mind, what you're trying to remember about the refined elements, so we might know for later for our quiz. So if it's refined, it has been heated, supersonically high heated, probably at least 270 degrees. It's been bleached to get the color out, and it's been deodorized to get the smell away. And that is how people make a lot of money selling oil. Or, to be fair, that's how they make enough oil. That's how you mass produce and make oil at a big scale. Not for us. So what we will be doing instead, and all of your body oils are all cold pressed. So to take this, if we take a jojoba again as the example, we will mechanically press, well, the jojoba will be mechanically pressed. So it's not crushed in quite the same way, so that it doesn't get hot. So it shouldn't go above 49 degrees. There is no chemicals added. There's no bleaching. There's no deodorizing. It just keeps its smell. It will be filtered. So it'll be like sieved, like you'd sieve flour to get some of the lumps out of it. But other than that, it stays as it should be, as it came out of the jojoba. So it keeps all its vitamins, it keeps its antioxidants, it keeps its fatty acids. So you end up with something that's really rich in nutrients that can help support the skin, that matches the kind of get out what you put in ethos. You can slightly decrease the shelf life when you do it, but oil self-preserves. So you would still expect that you've got at least 18 to 24 months on shelf life. And as always with the good stuff, you can expect that it makes it a little bit more expensive. The only good thing is what we've been doing in Proverb body oil, because we're so passionate about trying to swap body oils over for buildings because we know what's in ours compared to other people's. We're working at quite a big scale between here and Dubai. So it means that because we can make it at a good scale, we are doing quite well of still keeping the pricing pretty much in line, if not better, with something that might have not been cold pressed. So with this cold press, what you're getting, and the reason you need to know, is why should we have it in a spa? Why should that be? One is because your skin is your biggest organ. Like, you absorb what you put on it, and we believe you get out what you put in. But the really other important part is what it means is you're not just using it to massage. As a therapist, we live and breathe oil. It's the thing we see most all the time, drowning in oil. And you get a bit immune to it. You're like, yeah, oil, more oil. It is just a massage medium for us, just something to slip while our hands do all the magic. But what you need to remember is that you're not just using it as a massage medium to slip, like you're actually feeding the skin. And you need to tell them that, because if you're buying something that is more elite, then it will get you that result for the skin. And they need to be told that. We need to tell them that we've got these beautiful bioactive oils. And the sites that are here that use Pink's Boutique, remember, Pink's Boutique does exactly the same with its oils as well. So you've got the same through both of them. And if you ever want a really quick way to explain it to a guest, like a quick analogy for them, then you could literally say to them, like, a refined oils are like fast food, cheap, quick, convenient, but no nutrients. So it's like going to McDonald's. Whereas a cold pressed oil is like a fresh pressed juice, vibrant, nourishing, alive, good for you. So your job is going to be to work out and try and find out where oils, whether anything you have at home or anything you're using, are they cold pressed or are they refined? Because they don't have to tell you. Obviously, in our world, when we've got like a soil association badge, we have to have it all evidenced through the soil association, so that we've got like a third party checking and auditing that. But just in case, it is good revision for what refined versus cold pressed actually means. Okay. Does anyone have any product questions so far? Okay. What I'm going to do then, before we go on to our cryo balls, I'm going to do a little quiz now. I've got 3 questions. Now, what you need to do is whoever answers first in the chat box wins. And if there's a group of you, maybe nominate one of you as the person that types, but just be really honest with each other. Like, whoever says the answer, they get the prize. Okay. And I'll write down who gets it as well. Okay. So question 1 then. Actually, I might do 5 questions. What's the important delivery hydration vehicles, the 2 humectants that you have inside the skin strength serum? Type. Well done, Rockcliffe. Hyaluronic acid and a glycerine. Okay. I see Neve shouting at Breeden. She's telling you to go faster. Next up then, the brightening element in the skin strength serum, 2 places it's coming from. Where is it coming from? Oh, those both came very quickly. I think Rockcliffe got it first as well. So the orange peel and the papaya. Breeden, that was like supersonically quickly afterwards. And well done. York, we also got it as well. Okay, thinking then about refined oils. So the negative things that happens to oils when they are mass produced. There are 3 things that they are doing to those oils, which just doesn't seem to make any sense. What are the 3 negative things that happens to refined oils that we don't want to happen? Hold on, who we got? Remember, we've got heated, bleached, deodorized. Okay. We managed to stop Rockcliffe getting their throw of 3 in a row. Sam, also right. Yep, everyone's getting it right. Good learning. It's really awesome for me as well, because it means that it's going in. Okay. So that was question 3. Okay. This one is a bit of a cheat. This one is a bit of brand revision that I haven't actually gone through today, but we would have done it in person when we did our original training. So Proverb has the triangles on the pack because we've always got the 3 points. Can anyone remember when we say we make skincare for people who care about 3 things? Can anyone remember what the 3 things are? Okay, what we got? Let's see who got first. Performance, environment, and health. Correct, Rockcliffe. Okay, so we always talk about the brand as being about people that care about their health, their performance, and the environment. Okay. And we are going next to go and have a quick think about the base oils and the essential oils for the bottles. Proverb has got 4 body massage oils. You've got Recovery, which is the rose geranium. You've got Defense, which is your wild mint. You've got Longevity, which is a sweet orange and bergamot. And then your last one is Performance, which is the ginger, frankincense, and black pepper. Can anyone remember what the base, so that all 4 bottles contain the same base ingredients? There's 3 ingredients that are all 100% organic, 3 seed oils. Can anyone remember what they are? Sorry, Sam, this is a bit unfair for you because you've predominantly done facial. Not avocado in this one. There is lots of avocado in Proverb, but not in this one. Nearly Rockcliffe. So we've got apricot is right. Jojoba is right. Not carrot. Amanda has got it. Brighton, sunflower, apricot, and jojoba. Yay, good work, team. Okay, so let me show you that. Kelsey's being naughty and testing you before she even actually shows you it on the screen. So before we move to our cryoballs, just a reminder that your cold press base for all the Pro Massage oils, same for Pink's Boutique as well, is your organic apricot, lots of vitamin A. We want the elasticity from the vitamin A. Sunflower, because it has got lots of vitamin E. Again, vitamin E is an amazing antioxidant, but it's also very good for calming. If anyone's menopausal, it's a nice ingredient. And then jojoba, which is a super clever little thing because it basically mimics sebum. So it sits on your skin and mimics the feeling of sebum. And that is what the 4 body massage oils are. Anyone that has got the elite superfood, so for instance, Beaverbrook, because I know you guys are more face-based, you've got Elite Superfood, which is the one that's got lots and lots of ingredients. The body massage ones are a bit more simple, whereas the Elite Superfood has that big set of ingredients. And remember, with these 4 body oils, these are the 4 flavors that you can see on the screen next. All of them can go on the body, but it is Recovery that is the one that can go on the face. So Recovery, which is the rose and rose geranium, can also be a face or massage oil. And your Elite Superfood can also be either a face or a body oil. So in a Proverb world, you've got 2 facial oil options. You've got the gentle rose flavor, or you've got the Elite Superfood with no aroma. Right then. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to spend the last bit of our time doing a little bit of cryo work. So most of you have them already. Team Rockcliffe, totally up to you. If you want to stay, it might be just useful if you can till 15:15 for extra bits, or if you want to run away, you can, because I know you guys don't have face yet. So what we're going to have a little look at is those cryo balls. So we introduce them in the skin workout facial, but we never spend that long learning about the benefits and the why. So I've made you some slides about the real benefits. So first up with them, they will always be very useful for taking down puffiness and inflammation. Very good around the eyes, trying to take down swelling, black circles. Great in the morning if someone is looking tired or bloated. Number 2, they are also very good for any skin irritation or redness. So if you have a guest that comes and has got severe rosacea, kind of severe inflammation, acne, or general sensitivity, you could on the spot mold them a slightly different facial treatment where you don't do as much of your uplift. You don't do your fast uplifting moves because that's going to bring blood, which will make them redder. And instead you swap and do a lot of cryo work to really help with the inflammation. And the routine we do now would be really useful. You could fill much, much more of the massage with that cryo work. Also, for buildings where you do treatments that are a bit more invasive, so things if you've got microneedling, or you've got dermaplaning, or you've got facial treatments that do purposely make them quite red, then you could use this afterwards as well. So you could use these, even really nice after like exfoliation or waxing. Using that cold is going to help you tighten and tone the skin to help give a more sculpted feeling. When you're using cold and hot, so you've been massaging and you're bringing warmth, and then you suddenly bring in the cold, and then you've got your hands that are warm, and then you bring in the cold, you get a flushing effect. So you can actually help with the flushing concept for both moving blood or lactic acid. You can use them to press as well. So you can actually use them to try and like press product in. And then they are very, very good around the eye areas for anyone that's got headaches, anyone that's got migraines, anyone that's got sinus problems. And as TikTok is continually telling everyone that is 12 and above, I mean, the land of TikTok is full of gua sha and cryo tools at the moment, that technically, if you are doing frequent lymphatic drainage on your face, if you're doing that every day, you will get a smoother, more even toned skin. Okay. Now, I thought we'd have just a little look at some of the balls that are out there. Okay, so most of you have seen the first ones. They are basically like a golf ball with a handle. And that is the predominant one that we use in Proverb. The reason I use these is because they're really the best one fits all. They're pretty good at everything and moving around all parts of the face. Okay. Some of you might have or might have seen these ones that look like a mermaid's tail. Okay. These are very good, particularly they're a bit like a gua sha has a baby with a cryo ball. They're a bit like a mixture of them. They are very good for edges, for bone edges, and they are good around the eyes in particular. So in a perfect world, if money was no option and you could have both, they are really nice combined. So having the ball as like your general one fits all, but then getting into the nooks and crannies and the edges with your mermaid. If not, we'd take just this one. If you can have one, only have one, this one. If you can have two, these two. The number 3, which is the U-shaped ones where they've got 2 little golf balls on a U. Don't know if anyone disagrees, if anyone's tried them. I don't find ever particularly professionally that they're that easy to use. So they're not on my shopping list. And then the last one, we call them a mushroom. Has anyone got these? Give me a wave if you've got any mushrooms, where it looks like the golf ball, but then someone's just flattened the bottom of it. So it becomes like a mushroom shape. What they are very good for is holding in places. So like holding on the eyes, really delivering spots of cold, and quite literally if someone's got spots. So when I flew back from Morocco yesterday on the plane, I just suddenly got this massive spot here. And I was like, if I had a cryoball right now, I would just sit with it on that spot and just take away that inflammation. So mushrooms can work too. So just a little revision about what is out there. And a few key things. We want to make them cold with a fridge or ice. We are not putting them in the freezer. Most of them have liquids in that you can't freeze inside the ball. Or some of you might have some from brands where the actual whole piece of equipment is glass. And if you put glass in a freezer, that is going to end up not going well. The other problem, though, with the glass ones professionally is you drop it in the middle of a treatment and you have a very messy problem. Hence why I've always just gone for the like stainless steel will bounce mode. You have to have some product on the skin. So you've got to have something to help the cryoball slip. Presumably predominantly going to be a facial massage oil or some sort of serum. And we need to find nice ways to introduce them. And what you don't want to do at the very beginning is hold them for a long time, because you can get cold burn. So we're going to make sure that we introduce them in an interesting way, but we don't hold them and burn anyone. And always, you're either going very light pressure or a medium pressure. You don't ever get really, really, really heavy with these. Okay, let's stop that. So those of you who have done skin workout, we have used them for some lifting. Okay. What I'm going to try and do today is show you some more things to do with them. And it is up to you whether you just use those in the skin workout and do some more things, or whether after it you go, right, actually, we're going to make a 15-30 minute upsell, like add-on that could be really cryo focused, or you could just have it as a standalone treatment to add into anything, because there is more you can do with them. Now, if you've got pen and paper, I want you to write capitals LID, L-I-D. Because there's 3 ways I want you to think about these tools. The L is for lift. Okay, so we can use them to try and lift. And that is what we've predominantly done with them already, those of us that have done facial. The I is for inflammation, where you're actually going to use them as a holding tool to try and take down color or angriness in spots or sunburn. Hence, this is a good time of year for these. And then the D is for drainage. So we are going to learn lifting skills, inflammation skills, and drainage skills with them. And it is up to you whether in a treatment, all 3 of those things happen, or whether just one of them happens. So you could, for instance, in the skin workout, have it where it's all just lifting. Or you could make a treatment where it's all drainage. Give me a wave if you have ever done proper manual lymphatic drainage body training. Because basically we're about to do some. Okay. So when I teach, the first thing when I teach manual lymphatic drainage, and what's really important to understand is the direction you have got to go on the body. as therapists, we've spent our whole life starting at the hand and coming up towards the lymph node, or starting at the ankle and coming all the way up. Okay. You massage towards the heart, you massage towards the lymph node. Now, in manual lymphatic drainage, that rule changes. They're like, no, you're wrong. Because it is all about unblocking lymph nodes and creating a flow of lymph. So using my arm as a best example, the lymph nodes we all know about are here, the auxiliary, okay? But imagine my arm is a tube of toothpaste, and this is the nozzle. This is the cap of the toothpaste where the lymph node is, right? If that lymph node is on really tight and is blocked, and then you squeeze the tube from the bottom, what is going to happen up here? Nothing. It can't go anywhere. It's got nothing. It can't get past the blockage in the top. So the mind-bending bit about manual lymphatic drainage and how we're going to drain with the cryo balls is that you actually have to start here. So you have to drain and empty here before you can come here, before you can come here, before you can come here, and then eventually you can do that. And that, in a nutshell, is what manual lymphatic drainage will teach you. So anyone that's thinking of doing a full body course, that is basically the first predominant key to lymphatic drainage. You start the other way around. You have to start where the nodule is, where the lymph node is, and you're always working towards it, but you're then working away from it. So it's a bit of a mind bend because you've got to work close to it, always going towards it while you're moving away from it. And that will help you with all your body lymphatic drainage, but that is what we're going to use as one of the key concepts on the face. So if you give me 1 minute, I'm just going to move the camera so we can actually see the bed, and I'm going to drag Luke away from his desk so that he has to come and lie down and be the face. Yesterday, when we did this for some of the international spas, you're lucky you don't have Layla. Layla was, Breeden, you will not know this because you've seen her as smiles and light while she was working there, but yesterday, good God alive, could anyone be more grumpy about someone doing drainage on your face? She was not very friendly. All right. Furniture removal commencing. Okay, right then, let's get this so we can definitely see this, where his head's going to be. So first thing to write on your notes is obviously you're going to need perfectly clean skin. So if you're in the middle of a facial, you would have already done all your cleansing and your exfoliating. If you're making a standalone treatment for this, then you will start with cleansing, exfoliating if you want it in there. Okay. Oh, and there he is. Very fast. Can I get you to just take your t-shirt off and we'll cover you over? So I'm going to teach you, we're going to go through everything to do with the lift bit. Then we'll talk about inflammation, and then we'll save drainage to the end because it's the most complicated. Anyone that has got to run away, don't stress. I will have the video. So presume we've already cleaned Luke, so he's already had his face cleansed. Okay, let's check we can see. Can everyone still hear me okay? Give me a little thumbs up if we can hear. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure that he's got some superfood on. So let's think about lifting moves first. I'm doing this one first because this is good revision from your skin workout. In terms of the skin workout, we sort of just appear with them on the cheek, don't we? And start lifting. So let me just do that. So presuming as it is in skin workout, we've just been doing all of our big lifting here, our whipping, and we appear with the cryo globe. And think of this one as ice creams. So we are using it like an ice cream scoop, being super greedy, trying to take the biggest scoop we possibly can, but always following through with our fingers afterwards to add that little bit of warmth. Okay. So we're just starting with how we've already used them in the skin workout. Okay. This area of the face is the only real bit that you can lift quite as much as that. So you want to really make use of it, and also really make sure that you come and lift in this nasal fold here as well. I think possibly it's the bit on me that I'm starting to really notice as I've hit like 45. So really trying to lift that nasal fold. So I'm just trying to make sure we're perfecting what we already do in skin workout before we go on to the next parts. When we work just one side of the face, what's good about it is you can be really controlled. And so what I would do is I would work one side, then in the skin workout, we do the other. But if you do end up with more time, or you add more cryo into your skin workout by putting an extra upsell on it, it is lovely having both at the same time. Double ice cream scoop. Now you're being really greedy. You want 2 big balls of gelato. But still do the singles and then come together. There's something lovely as a guest about having that symmetry of both sides. Okay. So still just thinking about lifting movements of how we can get these to lift. You can do it on the forehead, but as soon as you come to here, as you just saw him screw up his eyes, you've obviously got lots of muscle, but you've got very evidently the piece of bone here. So you have to be super light. So the real ice cream lifting is going to be coming from down here, okay? And that is what we have predominantly done already. But now I want you to do it with both sides too, not just one singles. Okay. Let's think about the eye for inflammation next. So if someone genuinely has a big spot, or they have patches of sunburn, sounds pretty obvious, but you actually literally can go and hold these on the area. Okay, so start thinking about them as like almost like little stamps that you can stamp onto somewhere. So if someone's got a little patch of redness or rosacea or a spot, that you can hold them. Do you not like the cold, my friend?
Bit of a shock.
They do get really cold.
Just because it's not consistent, as in.
As I keep appearing and reappearing. Out. Hello. Okay. Right then. Let's do our big piece of work then, the drainage side. This is where I'm going to twist the directions for you. So if you put drainage next. Okay. So I'm pretending I'm now starting from these have not been on him yet. Let's find a nice way to enter and get him used to those balls. I would, well, like you do with hot stones, it's not a bad idea to steal some of the cold and introduce it with your hands first. Just like when you're waiting for a hot stone to cool down, you can be waiting for these a little as well. And on those initial opening holds, so pretend you hadn't seen me do any of the other stuff before, this is us from the beginning. If you are holding 1, 2, 3, no longer, I would suggest 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So instead of a long temple hold, I would do 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a third eye and chin, and then maybe a top of head and chin, because I want it to feel like a nice hold, but that I'm not consistently leaving it in the same place if these have just come out of ice and they are super cold. Did that feel okay? He's relaxed now, he's not talking to us anymore. Then, starting to think about the drainage, you'll still have yours held in your hands. I will occasionally show you with my fingers because it's sometimes easier on camera to see with fingers first. In a lymphatic drainage treatment, the actual single most important place on the body is here. This is your subclavian, where your subclavian vein is. And when we move lymph around the body, anywhere on the body, it is all eventually going to flow back through here, through this subclavian vein. So we will always start here, and we will always make sure that here is open so it can receive any lymph fluid that we send from anywhere else. So I'm going to start with my fingers, what would be my cryo balls, basically just like you're lining them up on the clavicle. And the movements that I'm going to use always, there is 3. There is a push. So like I'm push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back. So a little pulsation, basically. So a pulsation, or I'll do a short sweep, or I'll do a really long sweep. And my pattern is always going to be those: pulse, short sweeps, long sweeps. So if I show you with my hands first, I'm going to start at the subclavian, and my pulse is inwards, this way, towards here. And then I take a step back, and I pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back. So showing you with the cryo balls, pulsing, pulsing, all pulsing towards that subclavian vein. Now to do the sweeps, I actually find it easier. I come and I stand on the other side of them. So I'm going to sweep, tiny sweeps, towards the subclavian vein. Do not hit the bones with these. And then once I've done small sweep, medium sweep, bigger sweep, I can then be completely happy that I can then come and do a full sweep in that area. And really that is the pattern for a manual lymphatic drainage, the starter base pattern. If we're then thinking about the neck, you have got lymph nodes around the base of the ears, and then we've also got cervical lymph nodes here. And we are going to start at the bottom, and I am going to pulse down. Then I'm going to pulse down, and pulse down, and pulse down. Then I will do a little sweep, slightly bigger sweep, slightly bigger sweep, all the way sweep. And now, and only now, am I allowed to do all the way sweep, because I've already cleared all of the blockages that could potentially be in front of me. So this is the new pattern that's starting to emerge. We've got to clear all the blockages, and then we can go and sweep. And we're working here first, coming up the face, because once again, everything ends up down here. So we've got to clear in this direction. Now, the one place that sort of breaks the rule is under the mandible, because you've actually got lymph nodes the whole way under the mandible. So it's quite hard to know which way to start. But the bigger set are the cervical at the side of the ears. So we're going to start closer to those. So I will pulse towards the ears, along the edge, pulse towards the beard, pulse towards the beard, pulse. Then a small sweep, get slightly bigger, and then we're back in play like normal, being able to do our whole sweep. On their face, the parotid lymph nodes are here. So we need to start bringing everything towards this parotid lymph node. So I'm not going to do like normal. So normally we'd start right next to the nose and we'd fully sweep out. Instead, in our new life, we are going to start right next to the lymph node, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it. Then I sweep towards it, starting closest to it. So really, we're learning more things to do with the cryo tool, but in truth, I'm giving you a bit of a cheeky insight into full lymphatic lymph drainage. If you went to do a facial lymph drainage course, you'd be learning these concepts. Then I'll take and go a line down. So like we're drawing what I always call in beginners facial our cat whiskers. It leads to the question of why we're not taught this way in the beginning. Step down, same thing, pulses, small strokes, so we can become the big stroke. And now I can happily drain out the full face, as you would expect. And I can also come under here because we've already done here, and I can also come down here. And so with the eyes, we would not start right here. We would start on the outer edge. My pressure now becomes incredibly light. No pressure at all. And the same with the tops. I'm not going to come from here. I'm going to start here first, ending up here. So I'm now going to and now I can go full circles. You can hold these, and this is where the mushroom shaped cryo balls are really good. You can hold these straight over the top of the eye, but at this point, you'll have zero pressure, like no pressure whatsoever. You're on the eyeball, so absolutely nothing. And then lastly, if we're going to do the draining out on the forehead, we will again start out, start working down. And at this stage, because I've then done everything in the right order, I then have free roam to do all as big strokes in the very natural direction that we would normally work. One other thing to try that feels quite nice, a little zigzag. You can tell us whether he likes it or not. But I only do this once I've started all my and done all that drainage pattern. And then just like you began, so now, because we've done all that drainage, now if you still had another 5 minutes left, you could just keep working repeatedly in any of those directions that you wanted. And then when you finish, you're going to need to find a way to nicely hold just like you did at the beginning. And if you are going to make this into like a standalone add-on, it's logical to either make the rest of the treatment feel cooling too. So for instance, if you're using hot mitts or hot towels, maybe make those cold. So everything becomes about it being cold. Or purposely choose not to make them cold and they are hot and this is cold, and everything becomes about the sports recovery concept of flushing and having both. And now I'm going to finish at my subclavian. When you are happy that you've finished the face, these are really nice in the hair because they're so cold, it can come through the hair. So for instance, you can come round under the ears and down the back of the neck. And you can use them to actually come through the hair because you do have lymph nodes all on the scalp as well. Quite nice, like rubbed behind the back of the lobes, like you're lifting those up. So I would add in like a scalp section with them, but only after you've finished everything on the face, because obviously we don't want to be rubbing any oils that are in the hair onto the face. Okay. And that is some new ideas of what to do with these. Okay. Kirstie back. So, cryo, in the document I'm going to send you, has got some nice benefits. So you can then kind of take those from a marketing point of view as whether you need to add any more benefits. You know which ones you're looking out for. If you're going to get any new ones, I would add in a pair of mermaid tails. What is quite good is to have 2 sets because obviously these do cool down. They are good. They do hold their cold for a long time. But if you've got 2 sets for each treatment, then it means you can swap them in and out cleverly like you do with hot stones so that you're continually keeping that cold. So if you're going to get a secondary pair, I would probably get a mermaid set. And we don't supply them, and I don't necessarily always like sending people to Amazon because of the ethical element, but there is a really good array of them in Amazon land if you're looking for some mermaid ones that probably will be between about 15 and 30 pounds. And that is our masterclass until the next one, terrifyingly, will be October, and we'll all be talking about Christmas. Okay, those of you that are still here, has anyone got any questions? You can pop your voices back on if you want, if anyone's got any questions. Or you can pop them up into the chat box. Let me just see. No problem. Obviously, a few people had to run away because Kirstie's a little bit, well, I'm 1 minute late. It's the problem of those treatments that all start on the half-hour mark. York, Brighton, any questions for us? I'll press stop on the recording, so bye-bye.